Hi, everybody. This is Jonah Anderson, and this is my session for the Festive Tech Calendar 2024, which is a special edition for December 2024 for the holidays. And today I will be sharing about top 10 ways to save money and manage cloud costs on Microsoft Azure. But before I start, let me share about myself. My name is Jonah Anderson. I work as a senior Azure consultant at Solidify. I am also working as a senior Azure consultant with different roles in terms of development in .NET, Microsoft Azure Cloud Native, and I am also the author of the book Learning Microsoft Azure that you see on your screen right now. And it is also translated in different languages as well as there's an online version. So if you haven't read it, check it out. I'm also the founder and community leader of Azure User Group Sweden, and I'm active in the community as a Microsoft MVP for Azure, and also a Microsoft certified trainer here in Sweden, delivering trainings for Microsoft credentials or certifications. So I'm gonna share with you that the fact that cloud is awesome. It has a lot of features in it that we can build with in any ways depending on our use case. There's a lot of solution for that, and I myself can testify to that as a senior Azure consultant or someone working with cloud technologies and even with programming with it for the past several years. So cloud is awesome, but to be honest, based on my experience, it can be very expensive. And I have experienced that many times, especially when I was beginning in my cloud journey, where I didn't know how to properly use and manage the cloud resources. And at that time, when I was a beginner, I ended up paying a lot of money for a virtual machine that I missed turning off during my learning demo or just someone trying out new things. And it can happen also, even if you are an experienced cloud engineer, that you can build something with your existing projects or upcoming projects without noticing or have this careful attention to the details of the cost of the tier that you are using with when it comes to deploying your applications to the cloud. And it can be very expensive, but cloud can also help us save money depending on the type of architecture or tools that you're using in terms of strategies and managing your resources, including the cost that you have every month. And also, it also depends on the type of tier and subscription that you have. So in this session, hopefully in a short time, not too long sessions, in the next 30 minutes or 40 minutes, I will be sharing with you my personal list or my personal perspective based on experience as a cloud engineer or Azure consultant, and how you can be smart with your utilization of cloud resources, or be smart in deploying resources to Azure so you can save money. At the same time, you're making use of the great features of the cloud computing, like such as in Microsoft Azure as a good cloud computing platform in building many kinds of things on your use cases, regardless if it's hybrid, cloud native, or you're migrating or doing a POC in the cloud, or you're someone that is learning new technologies on the cloud so you can build your career. So, number one that I would like to share with you is choosing the right Azure resources and the right size for your need. This means that, for example, if you're choosing a cloud resource, for example, a virtual machine or VMs, and other resources such as cloud storage and databases, it is important that you have already analyzed the list of resources that you need before you consider creating them or deploying those infrastructure into Azure, meaning that you already have your use case, your design and a project plan, as well as the architecture on which cloud resources you're gonna use, with the thought of the budget that you have for that specific project or use case, like POC, you can call it as well. So, one good thing to help you decide what is the right resources for your use case and the right size is being familiar with the Azure services or categories that is right for your need. So in Azure, if you're a beginner or if you're an organization or a team that's just getting started in the journey, it can be very, very tough. And that's the reason why I had that experience myself. So that's the reason why I started writing my own book, Learning Microsoft Azure, because that's one of the challenges in terms of choosing the right Azure resource and the right size for your specific project or your needs. And it can be different from one use case to another. So, when it comes to using the right size, for example, when you need to set up a server, regardless it's going to be a server for databases or web, you need to choose the right server or right size for that. So before you even choose one, you need to know, how much compute do you need, how much storage do you need for that VM, what kind of performance that VM requires. So gather all those information, and then using the Azure pricing calculator or the pricing details of that specific resource, such as a virtual machine or Azure VM, you can choose the right service or tier or size that's appropriate for your needs. So choose the workload that you need. You can actually make use of some services that the assessment tools that Microsoft or Azure has for those that are just getting started. But if you already have your existing resources in Azure, you can actually try to create the resource and you'll be able to see the prices or the cost management as well. And next one is the second one that I would recommend is to shut down the unused Azure resources that you have, including the over provisioned one, meaning you shut down or you turn off or remove those resources that you no longer use, and those that are over provisioned, probably you would need to reconsider, evaluate if you need to downgrade them from time to time. And how would you go about like knowing which resources that you need to shut down or you don't use? Of course, sometimes you need to do the manual monitoring if you have a DevOps teams or platform engineering team or cloud admins that monitor this. They will be able to see that through the monitoring tools built in already in the platform. But otherwise, you can also make use of like different tools that are already built in, empowered within Azure. Like, for example, Azure Advisor follows the well architected framework and the different categories and pillars for the framework, including the cost, performance, reliability, security, and other well architected frameworks like pillars. And when it comes to cost, the Azure Advisor will tell you which resources are overutilized and which resources are over provisioned. And you can do that by looking at using these tools, and you can also do it manually yourself. And if you're using infrastructure as code, for example, in provisioning your resources, you can also automate that and use the monitoring features available, like, for example, App Insights or Azure Monitoring. So clean up regularly the resources that you don't use as well, especially not just the resources or cloud services that you don't use, but even those that are like resources that are attached to the networking. So sometimes when you create a virtual machine, maybe for just testing and dev, you sometimes need to delete it. And Sometimes when you do the manual delete, it doesn't delete the attached resources within it. Like for example, the disk that were connected to the VM, the old snapshots of your VM, the network interfaces that were connected to a deleted virtual machine. So those things you can actually look up. And there are more modern tools today within Azure platform that you can use to utilize that. And then the next one is make use of the different types of like savings plans or like programs that Microsoft has or Microsoft Azure has for its customers or users. So aside from the fact that there are different types of Azure subscriptions, so the most common one that most of us use as an individual organization is the Azure Pay as you go. But there's also the enterprise kind of tiers for organization and plans for those that are partners of Microsoft. But there are other ways for you to save as an organization, especially. So there's Azure Savings Plans that allows you to like save some money in terms of like creating VMs, SQL servers, and get some discounts if you commit to be on this plan for more or less 3 years. And then there's also you can also make use of the reserve capacity for storage. There's also Azure reservations. There's also spot instance that you can use for non-critical workloads, and so much more, such as reserved capacity and a lot. So check it out. There are a lot of those things, and usually Microsoft Azure offer those what do you call that recommendations using the Azure Advisor or through the uh, customer portal or partner portal that they have for you as an organization or a customer. Depending on your role, you will probably get that notice. Otherwise, you don't. So the fourth one is implementing auto scaling based on use cases and demand. So this is very common in terms of modern applications and optimization of cloud resources. So there are different ways how you can auto scale. You can do it by code, event driven. You can even use the monitoring tools like Azure Monitor and create some alerts and actions based on the need or demand and performance or metrics that you have. So you can do that in App Insights or Azure Monitor. So let's just say you want to increase the instances or the performance of your virtual machine or your SQL database based on the demand of CPU usage on a certain peak. So it does. You can configure the condition and then the action and then what you want it to do. Same goes when the demands lowers down. You can also implement it to scale down or to do the scale up and down depending on what is necessary. So you have to, in order you can do the auto scaling, you need to have this good monitoring strategy or information or data already, so you know which metrics or conditions you need to base your auto scaling is for. And then the next one is the Azure migration tool. So there are a lot of I speak a lot about Azure migration, and also when it comes to cloud migration, there are migration tools. There's a lot of them. Azure Arc. Recently, after the Ignite, there's Azure Local that allows you to connect and integrate your on-prem to Azure and make use of that along with Azure Arc. But there is also other tools when it comes to migrating SQL Server to Azure, the Azure Data Box. There are tools such as the well-architected framework, Microsoft assessments, as well as the tool within Microsoft, Visual Studio, an extension that allows you to scan your .NET project or Java project for any architecture or any possibilities or assessments that you might need recommendations before you are able to migrate it to Azure or the cloud. So these are good tools to utilize uh, before you move to the cloud, because in my experience, which is also the reason why I wrote my book, is that many organizations or developers are just like directly breaking into like hopping and building something for the cloud, migrating everything without really utilizing the migration tools and strategy that are required before you really do the action. So, planning carefully and assessing your existing workload, and even knowing that there is an Azure hybrid benefit for those that are moving to the cloud. So, this Azure hybrid benefit, without sharing too much details of it, since I'm just giving you the overview, it allows you to like save up to 36%, I believe, in Windows servers, or probably like around about that percent for SQL Server by using the hybrid benefit. So it has more like a licenses kind of like savings that they offer to those that get into this program. I myself, I haven't been involved in a Azure hybrid benefit kind of deal, so I won't be able to tell you the details. But if you search about it and you're an organization that are thinking about Azure hybrid benefit and the cost management, not talking about the technologies, then you can take a look at it and see if you can utilize that under your current subscription or account with Microsoft Azure. So this is also one thing for the Azure hybrid benefit is the savings calculator. So if you notice, this is a screenshot I borrowed from Microsoft Learn. So using the Azure hybrid benefit savings calculator that you can search actually, you'll be able to direct it to this calculator that allows you to kind of like estimate. It's like, the Azure pricing calculator allows you to estimate how much would it cost you every month, every year to have your entire Azure resources or workload. At the same way, Azure Hybrid Benefit Savings Calculator is something that will help you calculate in terms of what are the benefits and savings you will have, the estimation if you're going to do the Windows Server VM, the SQL VM, the Azure Managed Instance, and this Azure SQL databases. And then this is an example. So from Microsoft Learn is an illustration of how much savings in percent you would have in terms of this is the normal listing in Azure, but if you go for the Azure hybrid benefit, you'll be able to minimize your cost by 50% savings. And this goes also 85 savings for the SQL Server Enterprise example with Azure hybrid benefit. And then number six is Azure monitoring tools, which probably most of you know is if you're working with Azure. Azure Monitor is a wide platform of monitoring tools for monitoring, observability, and checking out everything on your apps and resources within hosted on Azure. And there is a new tool called Microsoft Copilot for Azure that also allows you to manage your costs and set budgets for your costs as well. So sometimes you need to have this big picture perspective, and sometimes it's good to have an AI assistant in the cloud platform that allows you to look into it. So I did a talk about this a few months ago in another session that I can also link and share later on. But it is a good tool for you to manage and have this AI assistant. So, how does it look? So, let's just say you have a Microsoft Copilot for Azure for cost management within your subscription is enabled. You have the authorization and the right to do it. So, what you can do actually is you can ask the Copilot, Microsoft Copilot within Azure, and chat with it to summarize your cost for the last 6 months or the last 3 months or whenever you want to do the time frame for that, and it's gonna like list down. It's gonna help you analyze without toggling into different menus and the cost management part of the portal. And then you can also, as a follow up to your conversation with the AI or Microsoft Copilot, you can ask it how you can its suggestion and how you can minimize the cost. So for this example, there's a prompt that says, can we reduce this cost for the last 6 months of bill in 2023, for example? So here, the Microsoft Copilot for Azure have recommended to do some actions, and this is to so you have to click on the action and check its recommendation, and then you can also see the potential savings that you may have for such recommendation if you perform it. So number 7 is one way for you to save money in your Azure resources, regardless if it is a big one or a small one, for dev or for bigger production environments, is to implement Azure governance. And part of the governance within Azure is pretty broad, so I won't deep dive into the details of that because there's a lot of services that works with governance. But one specific thing that is good to know is setting up your or making use of the service called Azure Policy. And Azure Policy allows you to control your costs and safeguarding your cloud environments depending on the policies that you set up in terms of resources creation, the control of what specific users of your environment can create or not when they are on a specific tenant or subscription. Utilizing tags as well is one way to implement governance and policies and for cost savings. So here is an example of like tags, and this specific one is tags in terms of how it is inherited in a resource management like hierarchy. So see here you have one subscription that is being tagged for the for the cost department or finance department to track, and then you have two resource groups, and one resource group is used for the resources for the front end or the website, and this one is for the back end. And then in the first resource group, you have some tags within the resources itself. So let's just say, assuming that resource one is an app service and the resource two is a database, you can set tag in terms of what environment it is, like is it prod, UAT, or testing. And you can also have the different tags associated for cost management. So in this case, the tag for this is cost department for finance. So they will be able to see through tags how much is the accumulated cost for this specific environment or for the specific type of application or resource group for backend or the front end. So this is just one example. It can be customized as complex, as big or as small as it is, depending on how your management groups or subscriptions look like, and also how big is your organization. So this is in this like more controlled tagging perspective for cost management. But you can also use tags for different purposes. So you can use tag, for example, if you want to tag if the resource was created by infrastructure as code or not, or it's something else. So it's a good way to keep track and organize your resources, and you want to filter it through tags. And then number 8 is utilizing the tiers that are available for non-productions. And there's one tier or pricing tier called dev test tiers. So dev test tiers is also a tier that's available for non-production, like for dev purposes and testing purposes in cloud environments. And making use of the dev test pricing is actually more cheaper because it allows you to have this discounted rates for Azure, if especially if you're using it for non-production, like testing or cloud development, or making use of the POC or a sandbox, learning sandbox for your team. So dev test is more cheaper because it's not for production. You don't need so much performance. You don't not need much of workloads in it because the people or the users that are utilizing it are going to use it are for like training or for learning purposes or maybe just for testing. And then one way that you can also uh, like set up your dev test is also for like creating different kinds of labs. So here is an example from Microsoft Learn. I hope this is a recent one or updated one, but here you do have your different subscription. Usually in a real world scenario, there's a lot of subscription depending on the environment. So in my project, we have a lot, but in this example, we have the production, which is of course used in production. And here, there's also a dev test subscription. And inside the dev test subscription, you have your resource groups for like development, QA, staging, and all the resources that are connected to it. But in the dev test, there is actually dev desk subscription. You can associate your different dev resources for dev and test, and that includes like making use of the dev test lab where you have your VM set up and all the other services that you can associate with it. And inside the dev test subscription, you can also have your own monitoring, and you can also set up your policies and security, just like an environment on a subscription that you can have. And then, second to the last tips I have is utilizing the Azure Cost Management. So, Azure Cost Management is one of the most important or number one tool when you want to manage your costs in Azure. So, it allows you to create budgets, it allows you to see the graph for resources, filter it by date, by month, prognos, or like what they call the tentative cost. And you can also set up budget alerts. You can assign people in your team who will monitor the cost so it doesn't go beyond the budget that the organization has, or your own personal budget as well if it's your card that's associated with it. So this is an example of the Azure Cost Management on Azure. So this is from a demo screenshot from Microsoft Learn. Contoso is the name of the subscription. And here you can see the actual cost that Contoso has, and it has this like different breakdown in chart of the different costs per resource. So here the virtual machine costs about $6,000, the Azure App Service about 4,000. And here you can see the different location or Azure region these resources were associated to, and then also the different parameters or the forecasts that you need. So if you see Azure Cost Management Dashboard tells you how much is the forecast. But if you think that this is too much, then you can set up alerts within this and configure who are the people that needs to get alerts on this one, and set budget before it goes beyond the budget. So you can set like if it reaches to like 60% of the budget, then you need to be notified, or your billing managers can also take a look at that to monitor. And then this is also one example that you can save money, and that is the Azure Hybrid benefits that I shared earlier. So here you can also track using the Azure Hybrid benefit how much the reports, like how much you would save when you are utilizing this benefit as well. And then back to the Azure Cost Management, there's a budget alert that you can set. So let's just say you want to set a budget of about $5,000 per month for your Azure subscription or lower. You can set that budget, and in your budget, so the cost management, for example, for Contoso subscription, you can let's see. So you can actually see that you have your like different name of account, your scope, and your creation date, and you can actually see some different budgets that you can set inside your billing account for your different subscription if it's as huge as the Contoso organization, for example. And then here you can see a summary, the progress. If it's red, then probably it's something that needs attention as well. So these are one ways that you can utilize that as well. And the last and not the least, one of the ways that you can save money from Azure and resources is to building your architecture. Not really that it's required, but if you think that your use case can be built using serverless or event driven, I would recommend that because this is one of the ways you can minimize the cost. Because serverless technologies such as Azure Functions, Azure Logic Apps, combining them together, as well as the cloud native serverless databases for Cosmos DB and even for Azure SQL, and the cloud container services such as Azure Container Apps and AKS also allows you to kind of like customize your architecture or build your resources within Azure in a way that you are only build when it is running or when it is used. So it means that you're only paying for what you use, and it allows you to avoid paying for those unused resources. And then the next one that I would like to share is the free services in Azure. So if you already have an account in Azure, regardless if you're doing it for your own individual or learning purpose, or you have it through your company, already have some access to free resources within Azure. So if you take a look at all services in the Azure portal and look for, usually the services are being categorized into different categories or section. You will be able to see. Let me just share that to you. So let's just say here, Azure. So this is all services for Azure. And most of the time, all services are being categorized based on if you're looking for compute databases, you want to search if it's a service by Microsoft or Microsoft partners. So let's just say if you I want to filter for just Microsoft services, you can search for what you need inside here, including the preview services. But there's also a service that is free for everybody in different tiers. And what you can do to find that is to search for that. So let's just say free services. You can start if you want, and there are already free services if you are like just doing a hands-on for a few hours because maybe you're taking a certifications or you're learning something. Then you can utilize the free services that's included in your subscription, especially if you have a pay as you go. So this type of tiers, like using a virtual machine for 750 hours, exists. If you want to use of the Azure SQL database with MySQL, Cosmos DB, AI Vision. If you want to use like Louis, the language understanding for Azure AI, Service Bus, you can utilize the free version of it with 750 hours and 13 million operations. So 13 million is already a lot. If you're into containers, you can do container registry. There's also different services available for you. That's free up there. So here you can try. So there's the free services that includes in your monthly 12 months, and also the free one, like for example, Azure Functions. By default, in this specific tier or level, you can create 1 million requests per month. That is free, and you can also create unlimited repos, private repos at least for Azure DevOps and Intra ID App Insight. So there's a lot of things. So you can utilize that as well. Okay, so let me see. Another way that you can like save money is also through uh, through Microsoft Learn. So if you have a Microsoft Learn account, you can actually save money by utilizing the learning path with hands-on or sandbox. So when you have use Microsoft Learn, it has AI Q&A built inside it as your like co-learner or AI assisted like learner that can answer questions related to your learning material. But you can also use the sandbox for for hands-on if you don't have your own account. So it creates a sandbox on Azure, and then you can do it side by side within your subscription. And then the next one is learning more about like like cost management. Also comes up the topic of FinOps or FinOps operations in Azure. So there's a good learning resource that I also highly recommend. It's called FinOps and Azure, like interactive guides in terms like allocation, like reporting and analytics, like optimizing your workload, budgeting, and building or creating resources for the cloud that are sustainable. This is a good one. I believe there are videos inside this, so feel free to check it out. It's a good learning resource. And then I also created a Microsoft Learn collection for a learning path collection for cost management that you can access using this QR code. So I'm building this one. It's pretty new. I created this collection just for this session. So maybe when you check this out later on, you will be able to see more collections. And I think currently in this collection, I have about two or three learning path related to the topic that I'm sharing in this talk. And then that's all for me. Thank you so much for having me and for listening to this session. I hope that you had a merry Christmas and happy holiday, especially for the coming year or before the year ends as well. So happy New Year in advance, and thank you for having me, Festive Tech Calendar and Cloud Family, for us as a speaker this year. Thank you and have a great day.